Hi, it's Song of Songs again. I'm really into it at this point, and we are arriving to the second chapter, which is kind of a big deal because all the previous parts of this series were based on the first chapter. So let's start it. I am a rose of Sharon, a lily of the valleys. Like a lily among the thorns is my darling among the young women. The bride says about herself that I'm the rose of Sharon, the lily of the valleys. She has received so much of the love of the bridegroom that she starts to receive it and she starts to recognize it, that she is worthy of that love. And it's so beautiful to see that um, that in this relationship, this girl is just starts to open up and enjoy being loved and recognize her beauty and recognize that he's worthy of this love. This is something that's going on with me as well. Like I got to this point of my inner healing journey that I feel like, okay, I can be loved. Like there are things about me that can be loved and I'm worthy of people's love. And so at an emotional level, it's beautiful to see that receiving the love makes this girl enjoy love and also like realize that she's worthy of it. So now she proudly says that I'm the rose of Sharon, like I'm the lily of the valley. Like there is this plain, deserted area, and I'm the only flower there. And yeah, so she's becoming more confident, more um, self-aware, or something like that. um, but there's also like a spiritual aspect to it. Like as you're receiving the love of Jesus, first you are like, oh, I don't deserve it, don't love me, I'm a worthless sinner, don't touch me, master, I'm sinful, as Peter said, don't come close to me. And after a while we start to recognize that, oh, actually he loves me and he also loves me rightly. Like he loves me because there is something about me that deserves that love. Actually, I deserve to be loved by God. Kind of scandalous. And of course, not the illusion self, not the old nature, not the twisted shell that we build above our true nature. Of course, God doesn't love that. It doesn't even exist. Of course, it cannot be loved by God. But the true you, the original you, the originally good you that has been always on God's mind, that is his idea of you, is absolutely worthy of God's love. And you, as you're starting to realize your true identity, you realize that, oh, actually I can receive this love because I do deserve it. And that's a big shift in your relationship with God when you realize that this love is not like it shouldn't be, but there is. But it is very much something that should be according to the true you. And you you've done all the silly things because you believed less about you, and you couldn't receive love, and you couldn't reflect love because you thought less of yourself than that. Wow, this revelation is kind of like touching me as I'm saying it. And then the bridegroom has to like approve this realization in the bride. He just answers to that and reassures that, yeah, it's a good path to go to realize that I do consider you as the only beautiful thing in this whole desert, in this whole desert area. I do think about you like the only flower in the whole field. And he says, like a lily among the thorns is my darling among the young women. Of course, thorns and the symbol of purity, the white lily, is something that can lead us far away into the redemption story and Jesus with the crown of thorns. So there's so much in that. He was definitely the lily among the thorns, but he says that you are this pure and holy thing. And even if all these thorns of sin or twistedness surround you, even if this true and originally good you has been closed and surrounded by all this trauma and bad thinking and lies, I still know who you are. You are this only flower in the whole field. You are that pure and holy and blameless thing, even if those ugly stuffs surround you. Yeah. I am the rose of Sharon. Rose, the word for rose in Hebrew actually also means song. So I am his song, and it is the song of songs. So it's kind of like funny to say that. I know he's singing of me. And I like that this is such a good poetry. Like there are so many layers to it, even if you don't consider the spiritual aspects. Like if you think about it only as a love poem, it is really good. And I love art, and I love that God has that kind of thing about his nature. So I enjoy Song of Songs just for its art, but it is so deep spiritually. So the girl realizes like, oh, I'm the only one for you, and I'm beautiful, and you rightly love me. And he says like, oh, you are right. You're starting to discover who you really are. Let me assure you, this is who you are. The pure good thing, no matter what is surrounding you, and I know who you are. And it's hard to grasp this, like, I'm the only one for God attitude. But you should be okay with this idea that there is this realm, this dimension, this layer of existence, I don't care what you call it. There's a place where only you and God exists. And this is a place for just you to love on each other. And sometimes we think about like, oh, but God loves all these other people. Like he is like a guy, rich guy living in polygamy with a lot of wives, and I'm just one of them. But we are all together one bride. And this is his lover, this one bride. And we form this one body. But you also have to somehow get to this place in your mind when you can receive God's love as someone special to him, like someone who is the only one for God. And it's hard to grasp because we know that God loves everyone, but I have this concept. I don't say that it is true. It's just an approach, a mind game. But I imagine as God as someone who is so complex in person and in nature, and so big and so powerful that he can actually make himself the only one for each part of the bride, and he can exist in this many little dimensions, and in each dimension there is just you and God, and the other and God, and the other and God, and there are these different dimensions above and on and in each other, and in each of them there is just you and God, there is just me and God. And I don't say that it is like that. All I know is that you definitely have to have this approach when you receive God's love, that I'm the only one for him and he is the only one for me. And there is this world where only I and him exist, and I'm the only lily for him. I'm the only rose on the plane. And it's only me who he loves, and it's only him that I love, and the whole world is just a setup for our love. And you can be there, you can get there. It's not logical, but if it helps your brain, just imagine there's a lot of dimensions, a lot of like kind of like multiverses, and you have this bubble just for you and God. Yes. Enjoy discovering being worthy of his love and being worthy of loving you above everyone else. Because in this dimension, there's no one else, it's just you. And he definitely does says that, my darling among the young women, you stand out, you stand alone for me. And yeah, you are special. We say, yeah, you are special in God's eyes, but it's like because there is this place where you are the one for him. Yeah. God bless you. And let us enjoy being loved and appreciated as the special one. Kisses to you.